Hey, what's up my fellow collectors? Jim here with another figure review, and tonight we're taking a look at the SH Figuarts WWE Superstar Series Stone Cold Steve Austin. Now, I'm not the hugest wrestling fan in the world. I mean, I grew up with like Ultimate Warrior, Jake the Snake Roberts, so I watched it kind of back then. And then I didn't really watch it, and then when I did kind of get back into it was during the era of Stone Cold Steve Austin. So when I saw this figure on eBay the other day for 20 bucks, I said, man, you can't pay. I mean, $20 for an SH Figuarts is good, let alone a Stone Cold Steve Austin figure. But this is the packaging. It's basically like the other SH Figuarts, nice and small and compact. There's a little bit of a window, but it's more or less hidden by a lot of graphics. You got the "Cause Stone Cold Said So" on there. You got a cool little skull. Image of the figure. SH Figuarts. You got the WWE now, I guess it is. Not F anymore, right? You got at the bottom, you got Stone Cold along with the image of the figure. On the side, you got an image of the figure along with SH Figuarts and the name again. On this side, you have another image of the figure. Then on the back, you got some Austin 316 Stunner, Texas Rattlesnake, some images of the figure posed up, then a bunch of unreadables. But yeah, looks like we get a good little bit of accessories with this guy, so let's pop him open and okay, and here he is all out of the packaging along with his accessories. And he does come with a good little, I mean, he comes with 4 different head sculpts, so that's definitely pretty cool. He does come with 2 beer cans with a little bit of effects, and then he comes with 3 sets of hands. So you do have the 2 closed fist hands that come on him in the packaging. You have 2 kind of grab style pose hands. And the cool thing about these is they actually have a little hinge in them. So that's definitely something I haven't seen before in an SH Figuarts figure. So that's pretty cool. So you have these 2. And then you have another set which has pegs in it, which I'm sure this is the hand you use for, using the beer. And these as well have hinges in it. But the cool thing about this one is you have the pointer finger that has a hinge on it. And then the ring and pinky have a hinge, so you can get that classic, middle finger up. So that is pretty nifty when we get a pair of those. And then he does come with 2 beer can effects. And I mean, the beer cans themselves are a little plain. It's basically just some silver paint. You have some sculpting like he crushed it. And then you have beer spilling out the top, so you have like the white kind of goes down to this yellowish color. I mean, it's not the coolest looking thing, but I guess it kind of works for the most part. It does look a little bit odd. And then we have another can that has a little bit more coming out the top of it, a lot more white up here. And again, you have the can, it's got a little bit of dings on it. And then there is the hole for the hands to peg into. He also has it on this beer can too. So you can take those beer cans, where are those hands at, and peg it in like so. So you can have him holding on to the beer can. So that's pretty nifty, that is pretty neat. And and look, you can even, I didn't even know that, pulling this off, you can actually take that off and have just an empty can if you want, and the beer can just kind of port into the top. So that's pretty neat. Now, taking a closer look at the figure, we'll take a closer look at the other head sculpts. So this is the head sculpt that does come on him out of the packaging. And I mean, I can see where they were going, but something still looks off. I mean, you can tell that they kind of use that like dot matrix, because you can see it, but it's almost like it's too small for the face or something. I don't know. It definitely looks a little bit on the odd side. I don't know what it is. But I mean, you can kind of tell who it is. And with wearing his, outfit and everything, you can make him out, that's for sure. But you do have this kind of like closed mouth, kind of mean, stern look. Then you have one head sculpt that has him open mouth. So you get this one kind of yelling face. Then you get one where he's kind of like smirking, smiling a little bit. And then you get one where he's just kind of, you know, closed mouth, stern look, looking off to the left. So, I mean, quite a bit of options anyway, you know. And then taking a closer look at the figure. I mean, the skin tones are good. I do like the skin tones. We do have some muscle definition throughout. A little bit of shading within the skin tone. So, I mean, overall, it's not bad. I mean, nice, you know, nice muscle definition. You do have his little blazer thing that has the, you know, pretty clean paint, Austin, the skull, and then a 316 on the side. And of course, this is a floating piece that you could just, you know, take off the figure. And taking a closer look at the rest of them, he pretty much just has his black tights on. Then he has his knee braces, which look pretty cool. They came out pretty good. Then coming down to his boots, they look all right. Nice sculpt, you know, it's pretty plain, but you do get some nice sculpting in there. You do have his little Texas tattoo there on the side. Coming up the other side, you get his, you know, wristbands. Then on the back of the figure, you still get some nice, you know, sculpting on his head. Then you get the 100% whoop ass. This is all, you know, painted pretty clean on the back. Coming up the back of the figure, the back of the, I do like how they did his little knee braces here. That looks pretty cool. And coming up this side of the figure. So, I mean, overall, it's, you know, it definitely looks like Stone Cold Steve Austin. Not like the most, you know, detail in the world, but I do like the fact that he at least gave us some shading, you know, on the skin tones and everything. Now, as far as articulation, it's not bad. You don't really get much up. You get only about just a tiny little bit up. You do get about that much down, and then of course you have a hinge in the neck, which brings it down just a little bit more and up a little bit more. So I mean, decent range. And then of course that neck will swivel as well. And of course you get, you know, side to side pivot. So nice movement in the head and the neck. For the arms, you pretty much have just a big ball joint. So you get, you know, kind of like a circular movement within there, and you have a little bit of a butterfly joint. It doesn't really work that much. I mean, you only get a little bit of range out of it, but there is that cup right there that kind of hides it. But, I mean, it's really not, for it being a butterfly joint, it doesn't really give you much range, but it is nice that it's there. So of course you get a little bit of shift up and down. Coming out to the side, you get pretty much horizontal, so that's not bad. And I do like how they have this extra cap here kind of hiding it. Doesn't make it look too bad. Now unfortunately there is no bicep swivel, but you do have rotation around that ball. You have a double jointed elbow, or it could just be a single. It looks like a double jointed elbow, but gives you a little bit better than 90 degrees. Doesn't look too good just because of how it's kind of shaped. You get a little bit of gap right here, so it does kind of break it up a little bit. You do have rotation there at the elbow. The hands, of course, they swivel and hinge, and you can set that hinge to go up and down or left and right. We do get a cut right here in the torso, and that gives him just a tiny little bit of movement forward, a little bit back. You do get side to side out of that, and you do get a little bit of rotation. Then you get movement down at the waist. You get a little bit of rotation, but not much. But you do get more movement out of that, you know, waist joint back. So it does start to show there, but total, you know, with the top and bottom, you get about that much back. You can even get more if you want to kind of, you know, have that gap. Going forwards about that much. And of course you do get, you know, side to side. Now as far as the legs, you do have a little bit of a shift up and down, but going forward it's about that much. Going back's not too much. Coming out it's about that much. course, you do have a swivel, double jointed knees, which give you a decent amount of range. I mean, the sculpt of the brace does kind of, crash into itself right about there, but that's not bad. And then for the feet, we do have a hinge, which brings the foot back about that much, not so much forward. You do have rotation right at the top there. That's kind of weird. They have a cut right there at the top, so it gives you rotation. And then you have your hinge up and down, so you don't really get much of an ankle rocker. You get a little bit of side to side, and then of course you do have a toe hinge, which gives you nice range. So I mean, overall, it's pretty articulated, I mean, you can bring his arm in front of his body, but really not much. I mean, that butterfly joint should be giving you a little bit more movement than that. But looks like I got some paint chipped on mine as well. But I mean, overall, you do get nice movement with him, so that's pretty cool. And as far as taking off the head, you pretty much just pop it off. Put another head on there. Give him his screaming head. And as far as interchanging the hands, it's your standard little tiny, peg. But you can pop another hand in there. I always have issues with these for some reason. There it goes. Give him one of his beer cans. And there you go. Because Stone Cold motherfucking said so. So very, very cool. Now, Stone Cold measures out to be a little under 6 inches, a little over 5 3/4 inches tall. I don't have any other, wrestling figures. He is my one and probably only, but here is him compared to an SH Figuarts Dragon Ball Super Saiyan, and here he is compared to a Marvel Legends. So that gives you a little bit of size comparison as far as what he will look like on the shelf. But overall, I mean, I do like it. I mean, he's pretty much going to be the odd man out in my collection, because I don't know if I'm going to get any more of these. But I am happy to have picked it up. I mean, at the $20 price point, you really can't go wrong with that. But yeah, guys, that is the SH Figuarts Stone Cold Steve Austin. Very, very cool figure. Like I said, you get some nice accessories. I do like what they did with the hands as far as the hinges. We get multiple faces, even though they're not the best looking faces in the world. At least we get options with this figure. But yeah, that is a review, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you haven't. And I will catch you guys on the next figure review. 'Cause Stone Cold said so.